I'm a huge advocate of Nikon DSLRs. Nonetheless, I got back into Micro Four Thirds with the OM system OM-1. My name is Thomas Eisl. I'm a professional photographer from Vienna, Austria. And some of you might know that my professional career actually started with a Micro Four Thirds camera, with this one over there. The Olympus OM-D800 Classic, a 2012 mirrorless camera with 16 megapixel. And actually I used it with exactly this lens on there, the M-Suico 12-40 f2.8 Pro zoom lens. With this combo I shot everything from weddings to portraiture to reportage. I even digitized my film with this camera, but a different lens of course. So Micro Four Thirds is a very personal affair for me. In any case, after picking up a Nikon D700, I fell in love with Nikon F-mount. And I started using DSLRs more and more and really started to like the feeling, the handling, but also the wide selection of vintage and modern glass available. But today I've come full circle and I got an OM system, OM-1 Micro Four Thirds camera for my professional work, in addition to my Nikon DSLRs. And in this video I want to talk about the merits of the Micro Four Thirds ecosystem and why it is perfectly reasonable to have a Nikon full frame setup but also a compact Micro Four Thirds kit. In a previous video I talked about why it doesn't really make any sense to change from full frame DSLR to full frame mirrorless if losing weight and reducing kit size is the goal. A full frame mirrorless system is almost as heavy as a full frame DSLR system, but it adds a lot of cost as these new items, well, they just cost more than a used DSLR kit. But in the same video I also mentioned that there is one mirrorless system out there that can really reduce the weight in your camera bag, and that's Micro Four Thirds. So for me, one of the biggest benefits of getting into Micro Four Thirds once more was reducing the weight of my camera bag. And there are just some professional assignments where it makes perfect sense to not carry the full frame gear around, but just the Micro Four Thirds kit with all the lenses in a small camera bag. For me as a photographer, the user experience a camera provides is very important. And in that regard, I love DSLRs. In my opinion, there is just nothing that compares to a high-end professional grade DSLR body with a great lens on it. You look through an optical viewfinder, you hear the mirror go up, you know, the model hears that. It's a very unique experience, a very classic experience, and I feel like a real photographer when shooting with DSLRs. I love that. However, sometimes it is not only about the experience, but also about convenience. And the OM system OM-1 is a very convenient camera, believe me. Full frame autofocus point coverage. No need to recompose. In-body image stabilization. A touch screen. A high resolution electronic viewfinder that lets me bring up all the menus during the shoot without putting the camera down. but it also lets me review my images without putting the camera down. All these things add to the convenience factor this camera provides. A little bonus is that lenses on the OM-1 don't have to be calibrated. Well, and also the image files are much smaller. While I do love the super detailed high resolution 36 megapixel files the D800 delivers, I rarely need more than 12 megapixels for my job. So 20 megapixels from the OM-1 are more than enough. And really, that's a cost factor as well as a convenience factor. Storage space and computing power, well, they cost money. And 36 megapixel files add up over time. And opening a folder with 500 36 megapixel files, that can take a while, even on a modern computer. And as I've said, 20 megapixel is usually fine for me. Connectivity is a very important factor in modern digital cameras. And I think that Olympus and now OM system really nailed it. Their smartphone app is very stable, very convenient to use, offers all the necessary functions and allows for controlling the camera, transferring images, all I really need. Also, as a bonus, the tethering software that is also available for free provides an excessive amount of control, is again very stable, and yeah, combining both the tethering software and the smartphone app, the OM system OM-1 offers a compelling package in terms of connectivity. Of course, this is not a point against the Nikon D800 or Nikon DSLRs in general, as newer models like the Nikon D850, the Nikon D500, they have great smartphone apps and tethering functionality, so that's perfectly fine. But for me, owning two Nikon D800s without these features made sense to get a camera that offers a lot of connectivity for those jobs where I have to share one or two images to the Instagram story right away, or where I have to send one or two images to the client directly. Did I get a mirrorless camera because mirrorless cameras are better than DSLRs? Do mirrorless cameras outperform DSLRs? Well, I'd say no. I'd say that DSLRs and mirrorless cameras are drastically different camera types, and that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense comparing these two. It's like comparing a Leica M rangefinder to a large format camera. The OM-1 delivers in professional circumstances. I'm very impressed with this camera. I fully trust it to get the job done. It does one thing better than the D800 and DSLRs in general. It's a very good video camera. Also, the OM-1 doubles as my YouTube camera. That's a thing that the Nikon D800 cannot do at all. Some final thoughts. Will I get rid of my Nikon DSLRs? Absolutely not. 36 megapixel, native access to one of the finest lens mounts in camera history, the Nikon F bayonet, and the unique user experience that only an optical viewfinder and a physical mirror can provide. Well, those are things that I don't want to give up anytime soon. The OM-1, on the other hand, is a very modern, highly capable, very lightweight and professional camera that is a lot of fun to shoot with. So I appreciate both for what they are. Now, I'd be interested. Which camera system are you currently using and why? Leave a comment down below. Also, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and following me on other social media. See you next time.